Greetings, gamers and capsuleers. So we are still in high sec, but we are in one of those weird little systems that is kind of on the borderline of low sec. I had to travel through a little bit of low sec to get here. We are going to try and do a little bit of scanning and using data and relic analyzers. We're going to hopefully try and get some decent ISK. So there's been a couple of, I'm not absolutely sure how it's happened, but we seem to have made a big pile of ISK along the way. So our total net worth is over 400,000 at the moment, which I think we must have sold a load of, do you remember previously we listed a load of items for sale in the market? I think a lot of those must have sold, which is great. So I think I'm going to slightly modify. The original specifications was to get to a total net worth of 1 billion, but I think I'm going to try and go for having a total liquid ISK of 1 billion. So in which case we're up to 1/4 billion. So I think that's what we're going to use, which means that then I do have a little bit of pressure of to get my anything that any drops, any loot that I get, to get that taken to market and sold as soon as possible. We have got, if I look at our market orders, we have got 16 different items on sale in the market, which is quite impressive. So if that goes through, that's 18 million ISK. We have hit some decent disco rifts. I like the sound of that. Some deep flow rifts, and we have had some reasonable loot drops as well. So actually doing pretty okay. But I've loaded up in a magnate, and I've also had some. I'm not a big fan of skins. I kind of think it doesn't actually do anything for the gameplay, and I know some people are quite into it. So I'm going to put the biosecurity responder skin on the magnate. Look at that. That is just stunning. This is one of the skins that you get when you play the Project Discovery minigame. So, yeah. Looks kind of cool, I think. I'll try and do some nice shots of us floating around in space. So, the plan is we are going to undock. We are going to scan down either some relic or some data sites. I have also fitted, and this I got from a loot drop as well. Let's just go in here. I've also got a cargo scanner. What you can do with this is you can scan the oh god, I can't think of the word. I haven't even started on the wine yet. That's shocking. You can scan the cans down and see if it's worth hacking them or not. That little diminishing returns inertia modifier. So this we've got a sub 4 align time, which is pretty decent. We've got just over 30 DPS because we can launch a couple of drones, I think. Yeah, we can launch 3 drones. Each of the Acolyte ones need 5 megabits per second. Yeah, we can get 3 of those. Yeah, we've still got a little bit of, got some CPU and a little bit of power, so we can swap some of these modules around. I did think about putting I've got a scan pinpoint module, which makes scanning a little easier, but we're not going to bother with that. Just going to pause for a second and check that everything is recording okay. So, excuse me. Okay, so let's undock and have a look and see what we can find. Forgot the word for scanning down the cans. It's not archaeology. So we have got a lot of sites here. Obviously, if we scan down a deep flow rift, I'm going to swap ships and I'm going to go and run that one down. It's a scan. That's it. We'll have a wine now. Cheers, everyone. So let's in local, which is good. Excuse me. Gosh, that went down slightly incorrectly. So, I'm sure you remember when we did the scanning games, but I will talk through it again. If we might do a couple in real time, and then we might just fast forward through a few as well. I appreciate that it may get a little repetitive. I think it's more profitable than the that site. Place your bets that the first one we scan down is a deep flow. So the idea is that you refine your, starts off at 4 AU, we refine it down to 2 AU. Remember that all of these sites will be within 4 AU of either a belt or a planet or something. I'm getting Deep Flow Rift vibes. Absolutely hilarious if the first one we scan down is a Deep Flow Rift. Scan resolution, that's the word I was looking for. What is with me and words today? My God. That's going to be fun. No, road drone, that's right. A couple of percentage points to just some fits I see for exploration. That's the word I was looking for. Gosh, my brain. Some fits suggest that you can fit the relic and the data analyzers at once. I would kind of, in my head, I think you're better off scanning down all the data and then all the relic sites. And it just means that you can fit the cargo scanner, which makes life a little easier. So we have one potential location for the site here. We have one location for the site here. It's always the one that's furthest away. If it was the one that was nearer, it would be we would get a higher percentage than this. So it's always the one that's furthest away is a pretty good rule. Dropped 1 AU. Useless fact for the day. 1 AU is equivalent to the distance between the Earth and the Sun, which is 93 million miles. There's your useful pub trivia quiz. Oh, look at that data site. Excellent. We can scan that one. If you ever need someone for your pub quiz team, I am absolutely the best person. I'm half tempted to do a pub trivia question video, but I think that might alienate the vast majority of the theoretical and hypothetical viewers. Come on now. So close. So if you double click on the signal, it automatically puts the signal at the middle of your... Can you see how the image is rotating around that? Which makes it easier to move center of probe scanning. So let's go down to 0.25 AU. Yes. Okay, so we can. Game lore. A myriad of technological marvels inhabit this area of space. The physical guts of a powerful and well-protected computerized network. A data analyzer module will be invaluable in uncovering the secrets that are likely hidden here, locked away inside data vaults and heavily encrypted digital networks. So we have got our data analyzer here. We've still got our probes in space because they're going to be... Okay, so we have 4 info shards. I think we've got Range within 55 on our cargo scanner. So what we can do is just scan the first one. Wow, 4 million on. Second one, 1 million. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Okay, third of a million. Yep, that's worth having. Really good luck. Get all. Okay, yep, have all of that. Let's close. Approach the first. It's moving. If you moved your most frequently used modules into the top row here, they correspond to the F1, F2, F3, F4. Okay, so we don't need... So looking at this, I would say that the most likely place for the loot is here, followed by here, and then here. So I'm going to head up top left to start with. Spanner. Okay, so I was wrong. Let's move up. Wow. Officially suck. So, hoping. Then we pick and choose open cargo. Nice. 4 million ISK worth of... It's no time. So I'm going to unlock that target because it's empty. Get within 5 kilometers. And that we intend to use 5. Okay, so I'm going to guess that that's the most likely place, followed by that. So let's go bottom left to start with. Too quick. I'm calling everything exactly wrong tonight. Spanner. So, possibly there. There. We've got 2 spanners, so we should... Oh. Million of loot. Super job. Hot target. The graphics on this site, I think it looks dramatic as hell. My PC is getting a little old. I do need to get something with a bit more guts to it. Eve is quite good because you can wind the graphics settings down quite a bit and play potato mode a little bit. Ultra low res. Sort of in the middle section. Most of the graphics sections. Graphics settings. Wow. Brain today. Okay, so we're starting here. I would say probably up in the top right, by the top left, followed bottom right. It's the most. So can you see the... This is kind of like your hit points and your stamina, I think. Think of it in... So if I was to attack this, this has got a strength of 50. Hit it once and my appearance goes down by 50. Excuse me, 25. So this has got a strength of 70. I'm maybe going to struggle. Okay. It gives you 3 goes before you blow it. I think this one was worth half, isn't it? So it is worth going. Okay, so we're down here in the bottom right to start with. I would say top left is the most likely, top right is the next likely, and bottom left is the next likely. It's likely. See the numbers? They indicate that there's something that many numbers away. Right. Sorry, it's not left. So it looks like it's down here. Again. I'd just like to give this is a bit of real world stuff. It was the 10th anniversary of my dad dying yesterday. And even as a small kid, my dad always had science fiction books floating around the house. Got me into the original Star Trek series when I was microscopic. He took me to see Star Wars back in, I think it was 1978 when it finally got to Somerset. So I definitely got my sci-fi nerdness from my dad, and I salute you, and fly safe, Dad. Excuse the real world seriousness. Okay, so I'm parked in space. I finished this site and I've emptied all of the info shards. This site has now unspawned, so it's not visible on the probe scanner. We're at a random location in space, so these guys are going to have, if they decided to ruin my day and warp in and blow me up, trouble. So I'm going to align to a random gate. We still have our drones in space, excuse me, our probes in space. So we're going to try and scan down some of these. So we're going to go back up to 4 AU. Let us try... Let's try these ones here. So we're going to align that celestial body. So that space is 3-dimensional. So you have to look at this map from above looking down, as we are now, and also in the plane. Or solar system plane. Okay, so that's a relic site. Let's scan it down. Even don't have the relic analyzer fitted. I suspect that there'll be 2 or 3 of each in amongst the here along with the sites. As an alpha player, and with relatively low skills, I'm looking at sort of level 1 and level 2 sites, really. There's, when you get into the slightly heavier duty level 3, 4, and maybe even 5 sites, there's one which is a sleeper site where I have a couple of maybe less than a minute to analyze the sites with your analyzer and then pick the one that has the best loot and then quickly run the mini game before sleepers warp in and blow you up. And actually, no, that's a lie. That's incorrect. They don't blow you up. They blow the cans up, and if you're nearby, you blow up. Your collateral damage. So yeah, I'll be looking at level 1 and level 2 sites at this point, I think. So I'm thinking about that. Star Wars, when it first came out in 1977, I've been maybe 9. Gosh. It's the summer. I think it was released in 77 in the US, but I think it took a little while to get to the UK. Back in those days, there was sometimes months between the world premiere and the UK premiere of a movie. Insane to think about that now. Combat site. Let's double zoom in a little. So I'm intending to make a couple of videos. This one's going to be of what the word again? Not archaeology. Such a look. Going to be running a few of these data and relic sites, hopefully, and then hopefully I'll get into the Dragoon and make a couple. I'm thinking we might run a couple of combat missions for agents as well, just to boost our standings a bit. So we might run a couple of levels of those as well, unless I find hundreds of deep flow rifts, in which case I'm gonna. So just to talk a little about LowSec as well. So LowSec, there is an argument that LowSec is the most dangerous part of E. NullSec, there's no Concord. It's almost run by players, which, you know, normally with players, if you drop them a message and have a chat, most people in EVE will have a little conversation with you, and you can usually talk your way into either flying in their sections of space or at least staying neutral to people. We all want to, there's a lot of people have fun shooting each other, which is, you know, kind of cool. But LowSec is a little bit like the old-timey Wild West, where there are some rules, but basically everybody kills everybody. And the LowSec space around here is fantastic for PvP. It's there are faction warfare. The systems, we're on the border between Amar space and Minmatar space. So if you fancy the possibility of shooting some people, then it's probably the place to go. Obviously, with our no guns restriction, are weak as a kitten. I had a crazy thought. When we complete our Billion ISK challenge, I'm thinking of loading up a ship and fitting it with firework launchers and going on a LowSec, maybe Pochven, and just having a bit of a, maybe a live streaming it, and whoever pops the hull, I'll pay them out a Billion ISK. Kind of fun. I'm gonna ponder that for a little bit. Nice. $500 million. $500 million, $500,000, excuse me. Then 1 million in the second one. That's cool. And in the last 167 ISK. I will crack that one just so that the... I always feel a bit mean if you leave a relic or data site half finished, because it still shows up in the probe scanner list here, and other people will scan it down and basically get nothing. So I feel a little bit mean. Public spirited, right? You might hear my phone buzzing in the background. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're starting in the top right. I suspect it's going to be either down in the bottom right. The most likely bottom right, next likely bottom left, least likely top left. So let's go down. Good feeling. Oh, didn't I? So let's... 0.6 of a million. Excellent. So when we finish this site, what I might do is I might fast forward through the next few sites until we get a deep flow rift, excuse me, and possibly then load up the Dragoon and some nice ISK. Although, having said that, we're on our second site and we're up to 6.5 million ISK worth of estimated worth rather. So yeah. Okay, exploration. That's the word I keep forgetting. So we're starting in the top left. Looking at this, I would say bottom left is the most likely and bottom right is the next. Let's crack. So exploration as a newbie player is probably one of the most profitable. So, and you can pretty much get into it within the first day or two as well. It's kind of cool. And there is a relationship between the security status of the system that you're in and type of sites that you get, but it's far too complicated for my little brain. Little alcohol fuel brain. So let's do this last one. This is the one that's worth 167. So I think it's probably going to be up here in the top. As I say, this is going to be pretty unprofitable, but this is more of a public service than anything. So not top. Let's try bottom left. Absolutely sure what auxiliaries are used for. Okay, so there's a couple of blueprints that use them. This region of space is one where almost nothing gets sold, so interesting. I don't quite know the purpose of that. So I am going to fast forward through the next bit. As soon as I get a deep flow rift, I will stop and we can scan that down. And I'll keep going until I have a full cargo. And then I will see you in a bit. Speak soon. quickly dock up and swap to a relic analyzer. So I'm going to pull the data analyzer and swap it for the relic analyzer. I'm also going to dump the loot in the station as well, because I've got maybe 6 million, 7 million's worth of loot there. Decent. When you think back to 3 weeks ago when we started this adventure, 7 million in 15 minutes work. Quite happy with that, I think. So you will notice that as I float around from system to system, I tend to leave loot parked. So I leave loot parked in systems where I either think that there's something useful, or that must have been a loot drop. Yeah, so I leave stuff so that if I click on the personal assets, I can see all the systems where I found something quite useful. So you will find your own way to do these things, but so 7.5 million. That is not bad. So swap out the data, hold, relic, and then scan them. So we'll maybe do a couple of data sites. Excuse me. We'll do a couple of relic sites. And then I'll go and get Sal, the deep flow rift ship, and we'll quickly that deep flow. So we can scan containers down up to 37. It's on the app. See what we're expecting. First can has nothing at all. Let's second. Okay, yeah. That's good. Let's check the. Okay. So a little bit of salvage loot, which is definitely worth having. So there is an argument that the data sites are better than the relic sites. I kind of think sometimes with the relic sites you can get decent drops as well. Okay, so we're up here in the top right. I think it's going to be down here in the bottom left, but it might be the bottom right. Bottom left, so I kind of called it. It's looking good. So we are closer to Imnatar space. So Amar is this kind of gold and brown colour. Imnatar is that sort of reddish colour. Way off in the distance there. I think that's Galente space. I think we've had a version of this conversation before. Okay, so I'm thinking top left, bottom left. So let us try. This one is playing hard to get, which I kind of respect. Scan down. Ancient ruins stand silent and still in the cold vacuum of space, a sober reminder of times long since past. Our relic analyzer module will be vital in gaining a deeper understanding of the numerous artifacts. Numerous? That's encouraging, isn't it? Artifacts located here and finding something of value amongst the rubble. So again, hands too far away. Scan the first two. Analyzer says, oh, 1 carbon. It's not worth bothering with. Oh, nice. 7. Lock that one up. I think we've talked in the past about how I prefer the Galente ships because they have lots of nice drone bonuses, but also they're some of the best looking ships in the game. I like the look of the Amar ships as well. Perhaps that might be an object for a future challenge. Although I am half tempted to, when this challenge is completed, I'm half tempted to do one in Caldari space and not have the 1,000,000 skill points bonus to start. So I think that. Okay, so I suspect bottom right. Sort of. And I don't know about this little lump of carbon. I kind of imagine that to be the remains of a human. They talk about ancient ruins, etc., etc. Again, numerous relics. What a fantastic word, numerous it is. And how nice does the Magnate look? The biosecurity responder skin. It's beautiful. Okay, so we have 4 cans and they're all within 37 kilometers, so move around too much. First can, 0.2 million. Good. Second can. 2 million. Oh, a little bit of blue loot. Fantastic. Yep, we'll have that. Third can. Okay, almost 500,000. Fourth can. 8,000. Yep, we'll have all of these. So the blue loot, I got a little excited there. We use the salvage loot to make rigs, and you use blue salvage loot to make tier 2 rigs. Tier 2 rigs, I think you need to be an Omega character, so not the free-to-play alpha character like LowGun is here. But yeah, what it does mean is that typically the blue loot sells for a decent amount of ISK, which is what we're all about. I suspect it's up in. Wrong. You can probably hear the clicking of my mouse in the background. Most trolls in Eve, you can either use your keyboard, like the keyboard shortcuts here, so that would be F2. You can actually physically click on it. I'm an inveterate clicker. We're all creatures of habit, I guess. Okay, so we're starting bottom left. I think it's probably going to be top right, so let's head that. So let's... So that blue loot that I got very excited about has an estimated value of 2 million. Justify. We'll get them all. So we got some rewards there as well. 2. Yep. Free ISK. Yay. It's looking. Don't be afraid to cut your losses. Sometimes you will paint yourself into a corner to figure out a way out, in which case just jump out and start again. It's not my... So let us have a think. There. So if I get rid of that. There. I'm just gonna... Right, so I had a couple of attempts at that one and blew it. So that explosion was a light show, but it didn't damage the ship, thank you. Okay, so I messed that one up. But I'm glad we got the 2 million drop. We got a small mimetic algorithm, bank 1. Literally no idea what any of those words mean. Well, I know what small means. Mimetic? It's like something to do with memory. Look, that one. But that sounds quirky and weird. Battling us every millimeter of the way. Okay, so don't think it's that one. I think it's probably that one. Let's try. Is it wrong? That one is... Nope. Man, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. So it's... because my skills are low, because LowGun skills, you don't have a lot of strength with this minigame. And also because it's a very basic, it's a T1, T2 module, has a bit more scanning strength. Hey, 8. Oh, suddenly I'm alone in system and the rift is still here. Fantastic. Excellent. So I think what I'll do is I'll do this last site, and then that will be the end of video 1. Then I'm going to hop into Sal and see what else we can scan down. So I'm holding down my left control button and I'm right clicking the hands to set them as targets. See what we... 7, nice. Scanning. Absolutely nothing in the second can. .3 of a million in the third. Okay, so that's pretty decent stuff. So with scanning, potentially is going to have earned us about 10 million. It would have taken us a good couple of hours to mine that much. So, yeah. I've got the word again. Not archaeology. What's the word? Scanning. Although that's what it is, obviously. I suspect it's down in that bottom right. Let's see if we can... I'm going to write it down on a bit of paper and stick it to my monitor. It's the word I'm thinking of, folks. I said it 4 times in this video. Archaeology. It's completely gone. Memory like a wasp name. No, a thingy. Slightly impressed by how much we're actually earning. Oh, that was an interesting mistake that I'm... Second. I sold a couple of items immediately in market, but I had the box checked for use corporation account. So rather than 50 million ISK appearing in my account, individual character's account, it appeared in the corporation's account. So suddenly the corporation's worth 50 million, which is hilarious considering it is more or less a tax dodge. But I can, as the founder of the corporation, I can withdraw that in. Okay, so we are going to park up there. I'm grown, yes, I've recorded. We shall be back in a few minutes with video number 2. But otherwise, thank you very much indeed. Fly safe and fly profitable. And please remind me what that word that I keep forgetting is. 07, take it easy.